Do you know that one of the biological desires of human being is to be informed? We all as human beings wants to be informed, and that is what we call the curiosity. This is probably one of the most important desires of human. We always want to know what's going on around us. It's how we've evolved. It's how men built roads. It's how men built buildings. It's how men built airplanes. It's how men built cars. So we as human beings, we are biological, biologically designed to be informed, and we're biologically designed to be curious. It's the ultimate driver of life. The importance of what I'm saying, I'm about to tell you. And the important is that you, as another human being, because the world has been so made readily easy that you don't necessarily have to get information to keep living. But you're still biologically designed to be curious. You're still biologically designed to be informed. So you would do anything that it takes to find information, to seek out information. And this takes us to your addiction to mobile phone, especially if you're addicted to watching things like podcast, looking for information. Your problem is not the phone. Your problem is curiosity, and it's not actually a problem. It's just that you don't find something to feed your desire for curiosity. That is why you're addicted to podcasts, because that's the only way for you to fill your desire, the void of being curious. That's the only way. And I'm getting somewhere with what I'm saying, okay? So just be patient and listen. All right. So I've recently realized that most of my addiction to my phone is usually me looking for information. 98% of what I do on my phone is just looking for details, for information. It can be information on how to get rich, information on some cars that don't even have money to buy, information on houses, information on a country, information on things that is not of any value to me. But then it dawns on me that I am not broken and I am not addicted to my phone. What I am addicted to is looking for information, which you also are addicted to, because we all, as human beings, are designed to be curious. And the understanding of our desires and our curiosity can actually help us to channel our biological design to the right things and the things that helps us in life. Because we can both agree that there is no amount of podcast that you can digest that will change your life. You will still be the same person in the next 24 months, in the next 2 years. You might even be a worse person, just filled with junk information that serves you no purpose. And that is why you need to understand why, in the first place, you're addicted to your phone. If you find yourself mostly looking for information on your phone, then you're not broken, you're not addicted. You're only following your natural instinct, your desire for curiosity, your desire to be informed. And the solution to this is actually just swapping up your mode of information. So there is no way you can kill your desire for information. It's actually not a bad thing. It's a very, very good thing. Something that everyone should have. Something that everyone actually has. Everyone has the desire to be informed. What information they seek out, it's completely up to them. But everyone, every single one of us, has been designed to be curious. Now, we can all agree that watching podcasts would not serve us any purpose, even though we are fulfilling this desire to be informed. But watching podcasts would serve us no purpose, just fills us up with junk information. So instead of watching podcasts, why don't you start reading books? Instead of watching podcasts, why don't you start seeking out information inside of the book? Because you can either seek out information that is helpful to your life, or you seek out junk information that serves you no purpose. The choice is completely yours. If I were you, I would choose to seek out information from books. And that is exactly what I did about 2 months ago. I decided to swap my information medium from podcast to books. And what happens naturally, I get addicted to reading books. I just feel like I want to read more books because I find out information that, number one, naturally fulfills my desire to be informed. And number two, are very, very important to my life. And then it starts to open my eyes to things that are actually beneficial. It starts to open my eyes to how to manage a business, how to manage people, how to manage yourself, how to be what is it called now? What the fuck is the English I'm looking for? Um well, how to be modest. But there's one exact one I'm looking for. I beg your pardon. But anyways, it teaches me a lot of things about myself, about the people around me. It teaches me about psychology, about how people think. Think about it. The entire human interaction you can find in a book. Because the people that write books, like I've always said, are people that have gone through life. They have experienced the things you are currently experiencing. And they put all of their knowledge, the good ones, inside of a book for you and I to digest and be able to navigate our own life better than they did. So when you know and you realize that the information you need in your life and the information that would better serve you is inside of a book, why then wouldn't you start to read books? You're already watching podcasts, you're already watching TikTok videos, you're already Googling shit that don't serve you anyways. Why don't you just swap the medium of your information from podcast, from the BBC Media News to books? I think books are a very good way to go. And for every hustler, I think one of the things you cannot escape is reading books. You just cannot escape it. I was a person that never wanted to read books. I have never wanted to read books. I always thought, oh, books are junks. Why the fuck will I read 400 pages books? But I would rather watch a podcast. I would rather spend hours and hours watching meaningless podcasts, watching meaningless videos. But I when I put my ego away and I thought, okay, maybe I do need to read a book. And then I start to find way more beneficial videos, way more beneficial knowledge inside of a book. And you watching this, I strongly advise that you pick up a book today and you start reading. And naturally, you will get over your phone addiction because you'll be addicted to something else, which is book. And being addicted to book is not a bad thing because I'd say maybe 100% of millionaires read books. So if you find yourself reading books, you're basically behaving the ways millionaires behave. Millionaires read books. If you're reading books, you have a tendency to become rich one day because you are displaying the habit of wealthy and successful people. So there is no downside to reading books. And it is highly recommended that you watching this video today swap your bad habits from watching meaningless podcasts to reading books. That is the main information in this video. Thanks for watching.